the opportunity to speak on this bill. I suppose what I would like to say and I would like to share my time with.
You wish to share, do you? Sorry,
yes,
Deputy.
With
Is that agreed? Yep.
With Deputy Jed Nash.
Yep, that's agreed.
Yep. I suppose what I would like to say in the first instance that reforming the JLCs was something that we had committed to in the programme for government, and I suppose I'm glad that we are responding to that commitment today. And there's no doubt that we live in an uncertain economic climate at the moment, and I suppose we have to respond to ensure that we can have an economy that is responsive to job creation, but also, I fundamentally believe, to protect the rights of workers. Amongst other provisions within this bill, the bill allows for the JLC to set the basic rate of pay and the two higher rates. And I believe in setting the rates, the JLCs will have to take into account factors such as the unemployment rates and competitiveness, two key things that impinge on our ability to create and sustain employment, as well as the wage trends in comparable sectors here and in other relevant jurisdictions. The bill provides for companies to derogate from the EROs and the REAs in case of financial difficulty once specific criteria are met. It's true to say that the Sunday premium rate will no longer be set by JLCs, and I think in an increasingly secular society, although it is a day of rest, I do believe that this is something that needed to happen for us to be able to maintain our competitiveness. Reforming the JLC and registered unemployment, or the registered employment agreements, I believe, is something that needed to happen. So, I welcome this opportunity to be able to speak on this bill today. Here in this piece of legislation, we have protections for the current JLC workers. This was recommended in the Duffy-Walsh report, and it is very much to be welcomed. This bill also makes for the provision, as I have already attained, in relation to for Sunday as a special day. But again, as we see that we move away, I think, from the traditional the Sunday day of rest, that this is something that should be recognised and rewarded. Another very welcome aspect of this legislation is the fact that there is some flexibility in situations where employers are not able to pay, which is something which was lacking previously. Here in this bill, companies that are financially in trouble have some scope to derogate from the terms of the Euro and the REAs. However, protections afforded to workers are very robust, and this is to be welcomed. It's encouraging that the Labour Court will be closely involved in this process. This will encourage, I believe, investment and support, but also give insurance to our workers. It's vital that we can create a culture where job creation is supported, and I would have to say to put the rights of workers to the forefront of this, because increasingly we see, and I believe any opportunity to strengthen the rights of workers in terms of legislation is to be welcomed. Because in my own constituency of Waterford not so long ago, we saw how over 600 employees were just given 30 days a notice, and a company was able to take all of its jobs and all of its investment from our city and our region in such a short time frame. So I believe, and I welcome this legislation in relation to JLCs, but I would also say to the Minister that I think we need to look at industrial relations in this country and the rights of workers, because particularly in sectors such as the hospitality industry, and as a government, and I believe fundamentally, and for our region of the southeastern Waterford, that tourism is going to be vital in terms of getting us back on our feet. But what I would also say is that your service is only as good as the workers that you have employed in it. And particularly in the hospitality industry, where you see that it's very much built on what would be called relationship marketing, and that if people have a good experience, they will come back and they will spend money locally in our economy. So I think it's absolutely fundamental that workers who work in this very service-heavy sector of our economy get a good day's pay for a good day's work, because that will ensure that people will return and spend money locally in our economies, be it in the restaurants or in their shops. And I would echo what Deputy Buttimer said earlier, that nobody wants to let on numbers of premises all over city centres as we currently see. So I welcome this legislation, and I hope that it will bring I suppose, the stability and the certainty that's needed to further encourage stimulation in this sector, for which I believe will be a thriving sector for Waterford in the South East in terms of the tourist attractions and the facilities that we have to offer there. So, Gur Magat.